Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in the top right hand corner Raivotar, our red Zerg, and in the bottom left we have Ketroc, our blue Terran. Ketroc is in Masters and Raivotar is in Mid-Diamond. We are on Daybreak, I believe, and it is a Zerg versus Terran, so it's going to be a fun little matchup. Fun little Masters versus Diamond and Zerg versus Terran. A little bit of back and forth potential from the Zerg, and plenty of high tech choices for Terran. So it'll be interesting to see if Terran can survive to the mid game when it can dominate, and then if Zerg can just absolutely crush with having that game-winning unit composition on the late game. I don't know. I really don't know. We'll see what this match has in store. First Overlord, first Scouting SCV heading out from either player. SCV number 2 is placing a supply depot just at the top of the ramp. Probably going to see a barracks, another supply depot thrown down there to complete the wall off before he grabs any gas. Keep an eye out on that. No gas, no spawning pool out of Raivotar, our red Zerg, just yet. Drone is in position though, making motions like he wants to throw down. No, not a hatchery. He's going to be scouting, I guess. Moving off into the bottom right hand corner. I'm not 100% sure. It's probably just scouting. And an engineering blade block going out for Ketroc. Very cool play there. I believe this placement does block the hatchery, even though it's definitely off to the left. The hatchery is such a large structure, basically. Those two drones being pulled off. One was probably going to try to snipe the SCV and create enough room for the other drone to make a hatchery. 300 minerals saved up right now. The other drone, though, pulls off, throws down a hatchery of his own down at the third. The engineering bay doesn't get canceled, but the production gets canceled, and the SCV that was creating it gets pulled away and successfully scouts that the other hatchery is underway at the third, which is a pretty cool play. The command center first build from Ketroc coming up after the engineering blade block. Very cool play there, except sometimes this can backfire. You block off the main, natural at the main, and then the Zerg overreacts, builds a bunch of Zerglings to take down the engineering bay. However, the SCV that was done, it purposely went down to the third, purposely to scout that the hatchery was indeed going up, and that allows him to, it gives him a little bit more leeway, a little bit more free time, so that he can actually afford to get up that command center before barracks has gone up. Pardon me. Barracks is going up to the top of the ramp, but at the same time, it's going to finish at about the same time that the command center. Also, 2 gas being grabbed for Ketroc. The Zerglings are not quite out on the field yet. 6 of them just now getting started. The spawning pool does finish. Hatchery finishes up at the third. First queen underway for Raivotar, and this engineering bay is still stuck around for quite a long time. 850 hit points for only 125 minerals. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really cool. Second engineering bay on the production tab right now for Ketroc. What is that going to be used for? Probably a planetary fortress, if I'm being honest. Planetary fortress is always handy, especially whenever you don't have the marine production in order to defend it from the coming swell of Zerglings. I mean, you can see 6 of them are now out on the field right now. Is that 6? No, that's 8 of them. 8 of them are going to be coming down very, very soon. The engineering bay is done. Planetary fortress underway. It's going to finish probably just seconds before those Zerglings actually start hit it. One way or another, the timing is going to be very, very tight, and these Zerglings really don't know what to do. Something that Ketroc could have done, which I've seen done before, is actually finish the engineering bay. Yes, you lose some minerals because you can't cancel the engineering bay like he did before it actually dies and get all of your minerals back, but it allows you to get the planetary fortress up a lot faster, and it would be up in time for this Zergling push. We saw that those Zerglings actually paused way over here before pushing in and doing any damage at all. Regardless, 7 kills for that planetary fortress, absolutely fantastic, and with 1 marine up on the top, they basically are caught between a rock and a hard place, having to retreat, having only done mild damage to the supply depots, which gets quickly repaired. Bunker going up on the low ground, as well as, wow, 4 total things of gas. I think I've seen this build before. This is going to be a Ravens only build. I'm not 100% sure who popularized it. I know Angry Kittens has done it hundreds of times. Not on this map, though. It's pretty cool. But a planetary fortress with 4 gas leads me strongly to believe that's going to be a bunch of Ravens coming out shortly, but you never know. It could be a transition into mech, though we probably would have seen a factory by now. Hey, a factory, but again, you need a factory to get a starport up to. keep an eye out on it. Still too early to call it. I've already called it. I'm not going to lie. Raivotar grabbing another gas at his natural. That's 3 gas total. What is he going to use that gas for? Speed isn't even on the way. Neither is Lair. He's just now starting on that gas accumulation, though, so we'll keep an eye on what he spends that gas for. There goes the metabolic boost, but there's no real surprise there. Probably going to grab a Lair as quickly as possible and get up into some form of higher tech, because Zerglings are going to have an impossible time to take down that planetary. Roaches are going to have a very hard time taking down that planetary just because of the choke that's been made right here that's only going to get bigger and bigger. And by bigger and bigger, I mean more and more robust. It's going to get smaller and smaller. Semantics. Planetary Fortress, though, is going to benefit from that high-sec auto-tracking, which is being researched at the engineering bay. This is such a fluid build because that high-sec auto-tracking also keys into the range of the autocannons. Thank you. First round of Marines just moving out with some SCVs poking up the front ramp, but just seeing a single queen is enough for him to cancel that small push because, wow, a huge swell of Zerglings, 6 Zerglings, 12 of them really, and with that they're going to benefit from the metabolic boost, probably going to chase down those Marines, but not before they get back to this home base. I mean, this place is so very, very sturdy right now. There's really not going to be any cause for alarm at all. 5 missile turrets on the way. This is kind of funny. This Overlord's totally defended, but he still knows it's there, so he's building a missile turret. And you've got the shadow of the Overlord right there. This guy, Lester, you've got to know that that's an Overlord, because it's not like that's a weather balloon, and no one's lying to you. It's an Overlord. You can call that right there. I don't know. I wonder if his vision actually shows him that shadow. It doesn't even show him the shadow. That's pretty cool, actually. That's really neat. Tech lab already added onto the starport created by the factory. You can just see by that position. Another tech lab going up, but there's probably going to be another starport right on top of that factory in short order. There goes the starport. And the tech lab's working on that Corvid reactor for those Ravens. Even though a single Viking is on the production tab, that's just going to be a patrolling Viking, going to be taking out all those random Overlords. Maybe this guy will survive, maybe not. Only time will tell. And it looks like the Overlords have already started their great migration away from anything that could be causing them damage. We don't see any anti-air besides the Queens from Raivotar. And what has Raivotar done? Check that out, Terran building armor. Another added benefit to both the planetary as well as the autocannons. I have a hard time with that word. Double Evo chambers working on the +1 for ground, which is an interesting choice because we've already seen a Baneling nest. Man, I don't know. Banelings are going to have a hard time against the Planetary Fortress too, but with a huge enough swell of Banelings, you could definitely take them out in one big swell, especially if you target in this area. You could take out all 3 of these structures, no problem at all. But it won't be the most cost-effective thing in the world. And oh wow, pneumatized carapace. Okay, that could be a very cool different direction you could take this fight into. You get that Bane Ring going on, and you can drop them into the upper terraces, especially with those fast Overlords. This is definitely something I like it. I like what Raivotar is doing. It's taken me by surprise. Definitely not the way I'd play this matchup, but who's to say it's not going to be incredibly cost effective. We'll need to see Baneling's speed if it hasn't already been researched, so that those can be a little bit more successful later on. But the Infestor Pit also coming out, another form of anti-air and non-static anti-air, which will definitely benefit him, especially as we see 4 Ravens are on the production tab right now, already 1 out, and that flock begins to grow. I'm not gonna lie, it's always a fantastic build to see, especially if it can be pulled off. This is a very delicate time though, because Raivotar is only gonna have 1 good shot at bursting down this wall, taking out that planetary, and nixing that unit composition before it actually gets to critical mass. And we're quickly approaching that. Hive is being researched right now. The pathogen glands are also being researched, but the infestors really aren't going to save him right now. He's invested into it. He needs to use it. That Baneling tech, it needs to be used right now. And even though the pneumatized carapace has been researched, he hasn't worked on those ventral sacs just yet. Really needs to get that out too, because right now the door is shutting. I mean, it's basically another 2 minutes or so. The Ravens will reach a number large enough that they can basically one-shot an entire base. And I think Ketroc is feeling like he's quickly approached that level. 5 SCVs in each of these command centers beginning to transition over to take the third. It's going to be 2 planetaries. Going to lock down that third with ease like no one else's business, especially with the Ravens in tow. Going to be able to throw down a bunch of turrets, lock that place down, no problem. Raivotar is taking his own fourth. His economy is actually in top drawer shape. I mean, 64. He's definitely mining a lot of minerals. Probably needs just a little bit more gas, which is why he's taking that fourth more than anything else. I'd say the majority of the drones being transferred down here going to be used on the extractor, and he's probably not going to have a full saturation on the mineral line because he needs that gas. He's got the Spire on the way, which is a fantastic call. Needs those corruptors out ASAP as soon as he sees these these ravens. However, this is the real problem. He's suicided in a single structure, but that just happened a couple seconds ago. I believe it was one of those overseered units. I don't think they were Zerglings, and I think he's only just now aware that it's some sort of airplay, and he's not aware that they're ravens. But he needs a bunch of corruptors out ASAP, and look at his minerals as well as all the all the banelings. He's morphing in all the banelings up on the high ground, but all that gas could have been spent on corruptors. This play is coming just a little bit too late. He really needed to have used those Zerglings maybe 4 minutes ago, whenever this supplemental wall wasn't in place. All these barracks here are just going to absorb Baneling shots, and then by the time the Banelings get to the planetary, they'll have suffered massive hits from the planetary, which is going to take down those numbers a ridiculous amount. Look at that. I mean, one shot from a planetary takes out 5 of those Banelings, and yes, a handful of them do blow up on the planetary fortress, but man, Raivotar just does not know how to deal with this. Oh, and suiciding and all those Zerglings into these autocannons. Those autocannons, yeah, you can take them all out. Fantastic. They're not going to. They're going to take out maybe half. But even if he did succeed to, he's not taking out any of the resources lost tab. It's 8,000 resources to 581. Raivotar just showing you exactly what you can't do to this, which is allow the flock to get up to a large swell, not scout whenever you need to, because, I mean, the 10-minute scout was non-existent. It came probably 3 minutes too late, because then the starports were already well into the full swing, and at this point it's pretty much mop up. Even if, and we don't see it, but even if there was constant corruptor production, at this point the corruptors are going to have a very hard time engaging in these ravens. The Seeker missile, you just need to keep a couple of those ravens away from the fight so that they can actually keep up with enough energy production so that you can have a handful of Seeker missiles held onto the side, and then that splash damage absolutely devastates them. I don't know which patch we're talking about right now, so I don't know how much, if any, splash damage there are to these ravens and their Hunter Seeker missiles, but regardless, I mean, you can also throw down a single point defense drone and retreat over your own turrets, and that takes care of corruptors just fine, especially whenever a flock gets this large. Ketroc is basically just mopping up right now, and this is going to be the coup de grace. He's going to come in, throw down a bunch of auto turrets in here, take down a bunch of the infrastructure. 2 infestors coming out, but we don't see any control from Raivotar. Throw down any single fungal growth, grabbing 2 of the ravens. Here comes the rest of the infestors, throwing up a bunch of infested Terran, but this is the beauty of the ravens. They're going to retreat and take minimal damage from the infested Terrans, while the autocannons, which are so much more robust than the infested Marines, I mean 150 to 50, and yes, they get the +1 armor, but that's not even for long. And then we have the +2 armor for the autocannons, bringing the grand total to 3. Only flip side to this is that the majority of the middle autocannons have been taken down by all those infested Terrans, so we only have a handful of autocannons left to take out the infrastructure. The Zerglings once again sacrificing themselves to take down the remaining autocannons. Resources lost tab has not changed from 581 for the last 10 minutes or so, but we have 1,200. I don't even know those numbers. Those numbers are absolutely ridiculous. Don't do math during a cast, kids. It's not fun. 2 planetaries have also taken control of the 5th right now. Ketroc's economy is laughably large. I mean, almost 2,000 mineral income, almost 1,000 gas income, and 2 planetaries at each base. It looks like another failed Baneling bust. Took down another planetary to half health, but he's got another one right on top of that, and then this flock of ravens, this corvid of ravens. I know. It's just continued to grow. We're up at, how many ravens do we have out at 22 right now? So Zerg's in a lot of trouble. He needs to get out a bunch of corruptors right now. Hydras are also a nice choice because their attack speed kind of counteracts the... Those Hunter Seeker missiles do have splash damage. Absolutely fantastic. I get confused sometimes about what version I'm watching because Heart of the Swarms and everything looks very similar. But it's always nice to see the Hunter Seeker missiles have that splash damage, especially now that they've added that use back in. is something that I feel like Hunter Seeker missiles just had, and taking it away really changed it to the point where they weren't really Hunter Seeker missiles anymore. Ketroc just decimating this base as well. Hey, check that out, moving 3 command centers over to the top left corner, but Raivotar had already taken that. In fact, he's taken pretty much every mineral line that you can see on the map, with the exception of this one, which was taken down by the Ravens as they retreated from the main base, and this one by those Ravens as they arrived on scene. Oh, finally a single corruptor popping out. We see 4 are out on the field right now, but like I said, that number needs to be probably 4 times larger than just 4 in order to take a dent into those Ravens, and point defense drone really does a number on them because their attack speed is so low. Hydras do a much better job because their attack speed is high. However, they get chewed apart by the auto turrets so very quickly because they're not very mobile, especially when they're engaging off of creep, when they're not on creep to engage. Corruptors kind of make up for that, being able to keep pace with those Ravens, chase them even off into the wild blue yonder, and just being overall more durable than the Hydras. So it's really 6 in one hand, half dozen to the other of the proper way to deal with this. Raivotar bowing out. Ketroc's going to be controlling his Ravens just for a couple more seconds before leaving himself. Oh, there he goes. Absolutely fantastic. Textbook how to do this build. I mean, you get the planetary fortress, you do the engineering blade block, which is key because you need to have enough time to not only get up 1 gas or 2, depending on how quickly you want that gas taken. So engineering blade block, CC first, after first supply depot, and then you get two gas or 1 gas with the engineering bay and a single barracks, single marine. Everything should be done by then. With the engineering bay being done, you can get the planetary fortress out once you have enough gas for it, and then once you have the planetary fortress, it's really, can you hold that, and then when he retreats, can you hold the secondary push? Because once you hold that secondary push, you're basically home free. It's very hard for Zerg to deal with this build, especially if you allow the Raven flock to get as large as it did. You really need to have a large swell of corruptors of your own to deal with it, or a hearty complement of supplemental resources, and just be able to throw wave after wave of Hydralisks into it. The Baneling bust was a fantastic idea. It just came late and was poorly executed when it did come. And he had the Baneling tech, he had the Zergling tech, he had all the tech he needed to do it. He just wasted time, and that gave Ketroc enough time to get these barracks up. Baneling nest was done well before these barracks were done, and if he had pushed before the Zerglings he had at the time that the Baneling nest was done, that planetary fortress would have fallen, or at least he stood a chance of falling that planetary fortress, and that would have completely changed this matchup. Ketroc would have been on 1 base. You can't really finance this sort of infrastructure off of 1 base. You'd only have to be dealing with probably a quarter the number of Ravens, as he's constantly trying to take back that natural, and then Raivotar would have been in control a lot longer and would have just been more comfortable total. So if you ever find yourself getting engineering bay blocked and you play Zerg, be wary. Don't forget about doing that Suicide Overlord in just to see that starport, and if you see it working on something, you can't really assume that it's just going to be Banshees anymore. You have to also be bearing in mind that could this be a Raven build, and if you see that planetary fortress, that's exactly what it is, and it's time to be aggressive. Yeah. Only thing I'm aggressive about is my affection to you guys, so if you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit, one way or another. I will see you guys later. I'm Ibigandscary. Bye.